of the Always Believe house. Oh, today we're going to start working on Staar Review 18, and it is going to be F-U-N, fun, fun, fun. Oh, so a magical whiteboard appears, and let's get rocking and rolling on this fantastic assignment. This is the last time I'm going to do most of these problems for you. So make sure you're watching. This should be an easy grade. Make sure you are submitting these, okay? Very quickly on number one, I'm going to zoom in to give it more power. So on number one, we need to find our point and our slope, and then we can graph the line. So this right here will turn into my x. So remember, when you put these in the equation, you switch the sign. When you take them out, you switch the sign. So the opposite of a positive 1 is a negative 1. This right here is my y. The opposite of a minus 2 is a positive 2. And my slope is 2, or 2 over 1. That means this line will go up 2, right 1. So let's graph this. So to graph negative 1, comma 2, I'm going to go left 1, up 2, draw a dot. And then my slope tells me to go up 2 over 1. And then down to left 1. So I'm going to have this line right here. And it is solid because it has an equal bar. Okay, so that's my line number 1, and I'm going to put a number 1 by here. That way I know which one's which. Okay, number 2. Okay, number 2, this is in standard form in it. So remember, C over A is your x-intercept, C over B is your y-intercept, negative A over B is your slope. So my x-intercept is going to be 4 divided by 2. So 4 divided by 2 is 2. My y-intercept will be 4 divided by 1, which is 4. And my slope is going to be negative 2 over 1. Okay, so that's how you get that slope. Remember, it's AX. Let me put this up here. AX plus BY equals C. So your x-intercept is C over A. Your y-intercept C over B. And your slope's negative A over B. That's how you get those numbers, right? So let's graph this. So my x-intercept's 2. My y-intercept's 4. And notice, if I go down 2, right 1, I get back to those dots, don't I? So this line is going to make like a V in it, an upside down V. This is my line number 2. Okay, let's go to number 3. Oh, let me do number 3 in green. X greater than or equal to negative 3. It only goes to the x, and it goes to the x at negative 3. So this line is going to go straight up and down, just like this. That's number 3. Number 4 is going to be x less than or equal to 3. So it's going to go through the 3 right here, straight up and down. And then number 5, y is greater than negative 5. Do this one and this. So y equal negative 5 is right here, and it's going to do this in it. So this is line 3, this is line 4, and this is line 5. Okay, now then if we shade, let's go back and shade. Let me do it this. Okay, on the first line, we want to do less than. So my line number 1 is going to be shaded down in it. Okay, and then on number 2, we have a less than. Our y is positive. The y is negative. The y is negative. Remember, you got to flip. Our y is positive, and we have a less than. So on the purple line, we're shading down, aren't we? Okay, now then go to number 3. On the x greater than negative 3, this green line will be shaded to the right on it. Okay, and then x less than 3, that means this line will be shaded to the left. You go less than on the x-axis, you go left, and you go greater than on the x-axis, you go to the right. On C, we have y greater is shaded up in it. So notice the part we're going to double shade is right here. So your pentagons give you more power. Messed up there. Get this one. So we're going to shade this pentagon in. Okay, so every dot that's in this line or is adjacent to it on a solid line will be true. Okay, so what is the slope of 3b? 3b is right here. An x equal line goes straight up and down. The slope of a straight up and down line, you've got to memorize these, is undefined. A y equal line, part 3c, the y equal line is flat. A flat line has a 0 slope. Circle the ordered pairs that are in the solution set. Let's do this one at a time. 0, negative 4. So go down 0, negative 4. It's right here. That's true. So that would work. 3 comma 0, go right 3, draw a dot, it's right here. That doesn't work, does it? It's outside of the shaded part. We're not going to circle it. 3 negative 4, go right 3, down 4. You're right here. That's on the solid line attached to the shaded part. That works. Negative 3, negative 1, left 3, down 1. You're right here. That does not work. It's above the red line. It has to be below the red line. So negative 3, negative 1 doesn't work. Negative 3, negative 5 is down here at this intersection point. That one works. It's attached to the shaded part. So negative 3, negative 5 works. 0 comma 4 is this intersection point right here. That works. It's on, both lines are solid, and it's attached to the shaded part. Right 1 and down 4. Right 1 and down 4 is right here. That is in the shaded part. That one would be true. So all you're doing is seeing if it's in the shaded part to see if it's true or false. Number 5 or number 6, the solution is where the lines cross. It's the intersection point. And it's the intersection point for number 1 and number 2, which is right here, which is at 0 comma 4, right? Or the y-intercept in it. And then the root or 0, that's your x-intercept. Don't ever forget that. The root or the 0 is your x-intercept, and this is line number 1. So line number 1 is right here. It crosses the x-axis at the 2, or the negative 2. That would be your root or your 0. Oh, let's go to number 8. This is what you just learned last week. You've got to be able to do this. Oh, the test. I'm going to keep it pretty simple. This is about the level of your test, okay? Notice that this has 3 letters. I think I only put 2 on your worksheet. But you got to be able to do this. Okay, what you want to do right off the bat is just do this calculation right here. So if you were to punch negative 3 to the negative 4 over 6 to the negative 2, punch that in the calculator. It will give you just the number part. So let's go to the calculator. Okay, let me remember. Negative 3 to the negative. Remember, the negative is not in a parentheses. Okay, so this should be a negative answer. So negative 3, so control divide to get my fraction. And then negative 3, caret. The caret sign's to the left of the x squared. Then put negative 4. So I have my negative 3 to the negative 4. Then hit the down to go to the second part. And then I'm going to put 6 to the negative 2 in. 6 caret negative 2. And hit enter. And notice this gives me the fraction and it is a negative in it. So I know my number is going to be negative 4 over 9. So use the calculator just to get the number part. You cannot type the variables into the calculator. So I'm going to go back to my paper and I know my number is going to be negative 4 over 9. Now then, there's 2 ways to do it. I'm going to show you the algebraic way first. We got the negative 4 over 9 down, and let me put this over here. Now then, we're going to write down the letters and subtract the numerator minus the denominator. So I'm going to have x, 4 minus negative 3. Y, negative 3 minus 4. And then z, 3 minus negative 7. So you go through left to right, put the letters in alphabetical order, the numerator minus the denominator. If you're weak with integers, you might make an error right here. So make sure you're typing these parts right here. Let me do that in black. Make sure you're typing this, this, and this. You may want to type those into the calculator. So this is going to turn out to be negative 4 over 9, x to the 7, y to the negative 7, z to the 10. And the y is a negative exponent in it, so it will go to the bottom. So my final answer will be negative 4 over, and I'm going to put a long fraction, 9. The x stays on top, the z stays on top, and the y will go to the bottom. Okay? The other way to do it, and I'm going to erase all this over here. The other way to do it is to change everything to a positive. So I know my number is negative 4 over 9. Let me do this right here. And then I'm going to put the x to the 4, stays on the top. My y to the negative 3 will go to the bottom. My z to the 3 will stay on the top. The x to the negative 3 will go to the top. The y to the 4 will stay on the bottom. and the z to the 7 will go to the top. Now then, when you get it here, you should be able to do the arithmetic in your head because you made all of the exponents positive, okay? Notice if you group this, you're going to go straight to here. Your x's are here and here, aren't they? They're both on top, right? So if I add up 4 and 3, I get my x to the 7, don't I? My z's are here and here. If I add up 3 and 7, I get my z to the 10th. They're all on the top, right? My y's are here and here. If I add up the 3 and the 4, I get to the y to the 7. I don't care which way you do it, okay? So if you do it this way, make sure you type these integer numbers into the calculator to get your answer. The negative exponents go to the bottom. If you do it this way, change all the negative exponents to positive. If they're both on top, you add. If you got one on top and bottom, you got to subtract, and you're going to put the letter where the most exponents are, or your greatest exponent. Let's go to number 9. Number 9 has 2 problems. 2 problems on number 9. So the first thing you want to do on number 9 is type that into the calculator. So I'm going to go to the calculator and type in 6 caret negative 3. And I'm going to enter, and I get 1 over 216. Right now, I know I need to have 216 in the denominator to be the right answer. Okay, so that's how you get your number. So I'm going to put a fraction bar, and I'm going to put 216 on the bottom. I don't need the one on top, do I? Unless it's the only thing. Now then, my x to the negative 2, the x to the negative 2 means the x's should not be in the numerator. They should be in the denominator. So x squared goes to the bottom. The y to the 4th is positive. It stays on the top. That's all you had to do. So on this problem here, all you had to do is punch 6 to the negative 3 in the calculator. It's 1 over 216. The x goes to the bottom. The y stays on top. That's it. That's test-like, okay? The test is not, you just need to know the rules. Let's go to the next one. On this one right here, we got to distribute the negative 4. The negative 4 is going to go to the negative, to the, to right here, to right here, to right here, and to right here. So that negative 4 is going to count 5 times. Now then, please think of this. You're going to write down that negative sign 4 times, aren't you? It doesn't matter if it's on the top or the bottom. 4 negatives is even. If it's even, it's positive. If it's odd, it's negative. Since this 4 goes to that negative, I got 4 negatives. It doesn't matter if it's on the top or the bottom. 4 negatives is going to be positive in it. So I know my answer will be positive. So I don't have to worry about the negative anymore. Now then, I need to do the 5 to the negative 4. You could do this. Let's go to the calculator. Type in parentheses, put negative 5, close parentheses, caret negative 4. That's basically what you're doing to get the number in it. This should end up being a positive answer because the negative counts 4 times, and then we're going to do 5 times 5 times 5 times 5, which should be 625. So this should be 1 over 625, and that's what it is. So the negative counted 4 times. It doesn't matter if it's on the top or the bottom. It's going to be positive. And then 5 to the 4th is 625. Since it's a negative, the 625 is in the denominator. If this would have been to the 3rd power, I would have had 3 negatives. The answer would have been negative, okay? That's the difference between the odd and the even. So let's go back to the problem. I'm going to draw a fraction bar, and let's go down to, let's just do this. I'm going to draw a fraction bar. We're going to need 2 fraction bars here. I'm going to put 625 on the bottom. Then I'm going to go left to right and multiply my exponents. So negative 4 times negative 3 is a positive 12. Negative 4 times 3 is a negative 12. Negative 4 times a positive 4 is a negative 16. Okay, so my 625 is on the bottom. I have x to the negative, or x to the 12, y to the negative 12, z to the negative 16. So now all I got to do is move my negative exponents to the bottom, don't I? So I'm going to put this in black. My x to the 12 stays on top. My 625 is on the bottom. The y should go to the bottom, and so should the z, shouldn't they? And this right here is the answer. Remember, the negative exponent just switches it across the fraction bar. The negative exponent just switches it across the fraction bar. Let's go to number 10. I'm going to do this for you one more time, okay? You should be able to remember this after this. This is a huge concept. We are about to start graphing these. Okay, in about 3 weeks, we'll start graphing these and studying what this graph is. So it's very important you're doing this on the calculator. So go to your calculator. You're going to hit the home button. You're going to go to graph. Did I hit the B? Yes. Notice that I have this up here. If you don't have that F1 to the X, hit menu. And then where does it say graph? It says graph at 3. And then you always want to graph a function 1. That's how you get that up there if it's not up there, okay? Now then, we are graphing, I think, x squared minus 7x plus 10. So x squared minus 7x plus 10. Hit enter, and boom, I get this, don't I? Now then, I'm going to hit Control T, and that table is going to give me the answers. So I'm going to hit Control T, which stands for table, Control T, and bam, I got my answers, don't I? Okay, if I go up 1, I have 0, 10, don't I? So these numbers on the right, the 10, the 4, the 0, the negative 2, and the negative 2, that's what's going to go on my T-chart. Okay, so let's go back to here. So if I put in 0, I get 10. If I put in 2, what was 2? 2 was 4, then 0, then negative 2, right? Okay, so 4, then 0, negative 2, and 0 again, right? You'll learn that these are going to be symmetrical here, okay? So 1 is 10, 2 is 4, 3 is 0, 4 is negative 2. Did I do that right? Oh, I forgot the 1. Hold on. 0 was 10, 1 was 4, 2 was 0, 3, then 4, then 5, right? Sorry about that. So the zeros are the 2 and the 5, right? Those are the x-intercepts, right? That's where the graph crosses the x-axis. That's a huge concept. That's got to click. A line crosses the x-axis once. An x-squared equation crosses it twice. You should have been graphing these every week since August. Okay, this shouldn't be an issue. Let's go to number 11. Notice number 11 has 3 things in it, okay? So this is getting a little bit harder here. So we need to find the largest number that goes into 48, 32, and 90. The largest number that goes into 48, 32, and 90. And that's going to be 16. No, not 16. Let me get 90. We'll do, we're going to get the factors of 90. So let's just write all the multiples. 1 times 90, 2 times 45, 3 times 30. You're going to be doing this soon. 5 times 18, and 6 times 15, 7, 8, 9, 9 times 10. So what's the largest one of these numbers that go into all of them? 4 doesn't work. 3 doesn't. Nope. Did I mess this up? 5 is only 2s. I think it's just got to be 2. 2 goes into all of them. Yeah, so we're going to divide by 2 here. So 2 is going to be our GCF. So we're going to divide them all by 2, and then they all have an x. Okay? So what we're doing, that 2x is going to turn into the Bluebell truck. The 2x will turn into the Bluebell truck. So I'm going to take this 2x and write it here. Now that I'm going to divide. 48 divided by 2 is 24. X cubed divided by x1 is x squared. Remember, when you divide, you subtract the exponents. A negative divided by a positive is a negative. 32 divided by 2 is 16. And then x squared divided by x is x to the 1, or x. And a negative divided by a positive is a negative. 90 divided by 2 is 45. And then x divided by x, it eliminates. This right here would be my answer. Notice I can't pull anything out of 24, 16, and 45. Those do not have any common factors in them, okay? Now then, if I were to multiply this, I would go up to here or whatnot. So basically, when you factor, you're taking that Bluebell truck out, okay? And you're undoing the distributive property. Let's go to number 12. I'm not going to do this for you. You're going to divide, subtract the exponents. Number 13, let's solve this for x. I'm going to do this one more time for you. So we have a fraction 4. The 4 gets Bluebell trucked, right? The denominator goes to the left. The numerator goes to the right, doesn't it? So this is in point slope form. The denominator goes left. The numerator goes right. So now we're going to multiply. 4y plus 24 equals 3x minus 24. And we want to solve it for x. So I'm going to move the 24 over here. So plus 24, and I'm going to get 4y plus 48 equals 3x. Now then I'm going to divide by 3, aren't I? And that's going to give me an x all by itself. I'm going to put x equal, 4 won't divide by 3, so 4 over 3y plus 16. If you can solve for x, you can solve for y. Later in Algebra 2, this will be the inverse of a function. So you're getting used to seeing this, okay? And let's go down to here. I'm not going to do 14 for you. You should be able to get all those slopes, okay? Number 15, I'll help you out. Remember, we're going to get the x and the y intercepts. So my x-intercept is 20 divided by 4, which is 5. My y-intercept's 20 divided by negative 5, which is negative 4. So let's graph that. So I'm going to put a dot on the x-axis at 5, a dot on the y-axis at negative 4. It's going to be a solid line, and it's going to look like that in it. I'm going to shade it in a minute. Now then, let's graph this one. Do this in purple. Negative 6 divided by 3 is going to be negative 2. Negative 6 divided by 3 is a negative 3. That's my x and y intercepts. They're all integers, so I don't need to find the slope. So my x crosses at negative 2. My y crosses at negative 3. If I wanted to, I could go up 2 over 3 up to get more points to make it more accurate. And then I'm going to graph this line here. Now then, remember, when you graph lines, 2 lines are going to form 1, 2, 3, 4 parts, aren't they? One of these 4 parts is going to be the answer. So on this line right here, my y is negative in it. Since my y is negative, that inequality is going to flip. If I were to solve this for y, I would move the 4x over and divide by negative 5. So the inequality flips. So this is going to be shaded down. So my red line will be shaded down. That is a huge concept. If the y is negative, the inequality flips. On this one, the y is positive, so this stays the same. So the purple line will be shaded up. Okay, so the red line shaded down, that eliminates part 2 and part 3. The purple line shaded up, that eliminates part 4. So the only part that has both of them, notice, is part 1 in it. So all of the ordered pairs down here make both of those equations true. That's what you're finding. You're finding the part, one of the 4 parts that make both inequalities true. Then on number 16, I'm just going to start you off. Remember, you need to draw a fraction bar minus minus. Your y's go on top, your x's go on bottom. In underline function of, this is y, this is x. So my y is gizzards, my x is money in it. So this is going to be how many gizzards I could buy for $1. How many gizzards I could buy for $1. It's going to be a decimal. You'll leave it as a decimal because you're talking about money. I would go with these 2 parts right here because they're the smallest, right? I'll set it up and you're going to do the rest. 10 minus 4 over 6 minus 3. Okay, just work this out. You should be able to do it. Oh, what a blast. Make sure you keep working on these. You're going to do great. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Remember, you are amazing. You are created to do wonderful things, and you are awesome.